So I need to tell you that I never really connected with animals. And you may wonder why. Well, it's because I live in a world of words and they can't talk and they get sick and you don't know what's wrong with them. And I'm kind of squeamish anyway. I'm not a good nurse. And also, I lived in an apartment 4 floors up in New York City, and my parents were an animal people. So, as close as I got to animals, there was a frog in Central Park West. He was so cute. We brought him home. We put him in a hamper. It was a cylindrical metal hamper painted in pastels with a scene of Paris streets. And it had a perforated lid, so we knew he could breathe. And we brought grass for a habitat. And all night long, I heard thump, 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 a trapped, crazed animal. And in the morning, we brought him back and put him back in the park. A living thing other than people just didn't work for us. You know, there were the turtles. We got them at the circus. They had painted shells. And what happens is that a painted shell can't grow until the turtle died. I mean, this is what pets did. They died. I mean, we even had a hamster. And that hamster would travel with us up to the Catskills, where my grandmother, who had, which was very beautiful and dignified with a very deep cleavage, she liked to put that hamster kind of right between nestled in that cleavage. And she would wander around talking to guests, and this little furry head would stick out. And she would just, with a calm expression, wonder why they were going, or, but the hamster, of course, also died. You know, they don't live very long. And so thought I would be pet free. I wouldn't have to deal with animals until we moved from New York City to Northern California. And then I got married and we had children. And, it's a kind of it's a formula: children and country and dog. So along came this Sheltie. It's like a miniature collie mix. And he was very smart and he was very neurotic. And he had a job to do, which was to herd us. And when our little family split in different directions, he would go crazy, nipping at our heels and yapping to beat the band. And so that was this one dog. And then we got another, because John had cousins from Wisconsin who loved everything Irish. And they came in their car with a pregnant Irish wolfhound. And they said, people will love her puppies. You'll have no problem getting rid of them and her, but you may want to keep one. And sure enough, we kept one. He looked kind of like an albino German shepherd. He was so elegant, we called him Django, the Hollywood movie dog. He would like to kind of pose for us. And I have to say, he was as stupid as the other one was smart. But they formed a pack. And they went off. We never knew where they went off. This was the 70s, and we really weren't paying attention, certainly to the kids and certainly to the dogs. What we were paying attention to was the human potential movement in us. And so one day the big dog didn't come back, and then a few days later, the little smaller dog didn't come back. And then we realized what they had been up to. There were fields of cattle. Oh, what fun. And when the ranchers figured out that these dogs were bedeviling their cattle, kabam, kabam, that was it. But that didn't mean we didn't stop getting dogs. I mean, this is a very tragic story. We lived on a road going into town, and the dogs, one by one, got flattened on the road. The final dog, Pepe Le Moco, he was kind of like a circus dog, was slung with a patch over one eye. And my husband didn't tell me until the morning that he had been waiting for me. I was at a board meeting after party at a local bar. I was a school secretary. And again, this was the 70s. And he had gotten flattened. And I thought that was the end of dogs. And then my husband died. He was the one who loved dogs. And I thought that would be it until I got grandchildren. Now, they were allergic to dogs and cats. And all kinds of live creatures lived in that household. There were bugs, there were fish, there was even a snake. And then toward the end, there was Annabelle, a magisterial rabbit. They weren't allergic to her. And then that rabbit finally died. You remember they all do that? And at that point, my daughter traded in her husband, who had become her ex because it was a painful marriage, for 2 pit bulls. Now, don't make that face. They are charming. They are generous. They are delightful. Can you hear? I have grand dogs. And, I got it. I got what they're all about. They are unconditional, even though I won't throw the ball for Olive because I don't play sports with anybody. And she just looks at my hands with that furrowed brow. And all Leo wants to do is lie on me and make a meat sandwich, all 70 pounds of him. But finally, I got it. I connect with animals, and I'm so much richer for it. And you don't need words to get love.